succeed with. They're in red side now. They won't have the same counter picks coming into the picks as they just had in this game against EG earlier. So hopefully they can stabilize more in the laning phase and at least have a lane to play for, because that was something that lost them the entire control of the map when they had none to play for.
So we'll keep our eyes on which lanes have priority as we get through this. As you say, Order on the red side does give them that final pick. That R5. Last time we saw the Urgot as a possible counter up towards the top side against that Gangplank. But with Karthus, Diana, and Karma banned away, Lucian and Ari on the other side, I wonder if we'll see something like the Wukong or the LeBlanc removed here by Order.
This is the first time that Kevy has been allowed to play Evelynn. The Evelynn has been perma-banned against him so far, and we might finally see him bring it out. It's something that between the LCO playoffs, between MSI, the games we've had so far, it's just been picked all the time by him. So I'd love to see that. But the Wukong you so mentioned, Medic, has been picked up. It's a flex pick. It's been strong in the jungle as well. It's been a little bit ahead of a missed performance so far at MSI, but at its best, it's definitely looked very strong.
I will say Evelynn was up in the last game and wasn't picked by Order, so we'll see.
Last game was Diana Evelynn on the last 2 bunts, wasn't it?
It was Diana Lucian.
Oh, there we have it.
Yeah, that's okay. So we'll see if it's locked in here. Obviously, Evelynn quite situational. The Wukong, as you say, can be flexed towards the support. We saw T1 do that yesterday. We've seen Mad Lions do it last year against Supermassive in Worlds Play-ins when they then lost. And it was a sad moment for all EU fans. But Targamas has an incredible champion. Okay. It's as wide as an ocean. He played almost a unique champion for the first, I think, 14 games of the LEC regular season until he had to start roaming back on towards some of the ones he'd played before.
Run it back, Corporal. You're getting that Nautilus again. It's bound to work at some point, and let's see if this is going to be the one. So they've definitely adapted on the AD situation instead. Beforehand, they had the carry down towards support side where they came through with the Vayne. Now they're coming through with Jhin. And the difference in Jhin and Vayne is that Vayne is a hybrid carry that you play for in the late game, and Jhin in the late game is a facilitator. You use him in the backline to set up the other carries from the solo lanes with your long range, with your ultimate, with your root, with whatever you can bring out, and then you're a finisher and executor on the fourth shot, of course. Ooh. So that kind of speaks to me that from the side of Order, they want to play for that top side. They're probably looking to give Biopanda a solid matchup and have him be a potential carry in the later stages of the game.
Obviously, with the final pick on red side, you do have that option for the counter pick. Wukong here, maybe locked into the jungle. I could, of course, go still to top lane, but with Renata and Zeri locked towards that bottom side for G2, I really don't expect us to see a Wukong support. The Evelynn immediately locked in. As you said, Gorborg, an option here for Kevy, and he's decided it is time to bring out the Eve.
So let's see what's all the hype is about, because once again, something that was heavily prioritized from the side of Order during the LCO playoffs and regular season. Haven't really seen it, though, in the finals, as it was perma-banned against him in the LCO. So this is going to be the time to shine from Kevy. It's going to be where we finally see the resources being handed into him. But it's also a little bit difficult because you don't have this facilitation of your laners in the early game. Once again, he needs to be played for. He needs to hit level 6. And once you hit level 6 on the Evelynn, that's where you can start getting active on the map. Of course, you only get the stealth when you hit level 6, and it's where you get the execute on the ultimate. So something Order need to stabilize towards.
Of course, Wukong does have the option of jumping over walls now with his decoy, so he can get into that enemy jungle, can try and harass, can try and get pressure for G2. I will say, alongside that, Evelynn does pigeonhole your solo lanes a little bit. You usually want some physical damage, some AD from either mid or top lane, things like the Aatrox, which has been banned away, Gangplank still an option, Jace as well, something that we often see to try and give you a little bit of that physical damage.
Oh yeah, and it's so difficult as well, because either you blind pick an AD mid laner, which is usually not ever the best choice, or you'd have to go for the likes of Gangplank on the top side instead, call that your blind pick, and then just have a counter pick for Kisee in the mid lane afterwards.
Other option is you go for something like a tank now on 4, and then you save an AD top 4, AD mid laner for last. We'll see what Order decide to do. Ryze Gwen banned away by them. Got Aatrox banned away by G2. They expect AD topside. They are leaving the Jace as an option. They're like, hey, you want to take Jace? Broken Blade can play into Jace. And now Order have that difficult decision to make.
Jace, of course, not as blind pickable as it's been in the past with the nerfs coming through. Yep. Usually he was a range carry with base melee stats, and now they finally became range stats instead. So he's a little squishier, but there we have it. Just blind pick on the top side with an AD champion. It was not the Gangplank, as I theorized. I thought that would have been safer, but coming in with a blind Tryndamere can be dangerous. Although, of course, if he goes Ghost into correct matchup, can just run you down. Now it's a little bit interesting. There is some skill in the matchup. Now has the agency of being the range champion in the big early game, having a Q to slow him down. But if you make one too fast step forward and Tryndamere starts running you down, might be a little bit of a difficult situation.
It's hard as well for Tryndamere if he ever does end up joining team fights later on to play into Renata, because Renata has the handshake, just cue you and throw you away, but also that hostile takeover just to be like, hey, you're running at me, now go attack your teammates instead. Of course, Tryndamere not often seen in team fights, often wants to just be in a side lane, but if Order do end up grouping up as 5, it becomes a little bit more difficult for BioPanther to play that lane. LeBlanc here locked in for Caps. An aggressive mid laner teams up so well with the Wukong when you're looking at the jungle mid 2v2, and now Order have to look towards their mid lane. Currently hovering over the Pike and the Nasus before, kind of an honorific there to Targamas, but Zed, it is AD in the mid lane, it's Zed into LeBlanc.
It's been a while.
Let's go.
So this is definitely something where that speaks side lanes, okay? You have Tryndamere, you have Zed, you have an Evelynn in the jungle that can shadow you, of course, very hard to spot out on that vision, unless you have the jungle lit up by pink wards. So from the side of Order, what we like to see here is once again, them getting ahead, at least in these champions, to the point where you can split push or at least open up the map in a 1-3-1 setting more comfortably. Because if they start taking over from the side of G2, if they start the Drake stacking in the early game, and all of a sudden at 24 minutes, you have to fight for Soul, and then G2 is heavily favored. So it's about for Order once again to stabilize, to find someone to play for, to find a lead, to gain pressure on the map. Because if you do not have pressure in these picks now, G2 will just take it over from an objective point of view with their strong team fighting champions in the Wukong, in the Na, Renata Ultimate, you name it.
Yeah, it's such a good team fighting composition from G2, but I love the discordance between these two compositions. They want to do entirely different things, as you say, Gulburg. Team fighting on G2's side lane on Order's side. The question is, can Order get into a position where they can get ahead in those side lanes? We actually saw a similar composition. I'm trying to remember who it was from, with the Evelynn, Tryndamere, and Zed alongside an Ashe. And the Ashe gave you a little bit more pick potential in the side lane. That composition did lose, but that's the idea.
Setting them up for failure. I like it, Medic.
I'm not saying they changed the Ashe for a Jhin. Maybe it will work this time.
Yeah, and I think as well from the side of Jhin, like usually what you like to have when you have in 1-3-1 setting like this is good wave clear in the mid lane. Jhin does have wave clear, but it relies on him stepping a little far up, heading that Q, getting the E down, and then the W, of course. And he is very immobile. Doesn't have a spell shoot like, for example, Sivir would in that case with the wave clear coming through. But once again, it is a facilitating pick, which fits the stylistic of running in with champions like Tryndamere, like Zed, and like Evelynn.
For the moment, both teams just setting up lines of scrimmage here. No one really going to be able to make too many forays into the enemy side of the map. Caps, of course, could go Distortion first on the LeBlanc, jump over, see that Kevy's there, but not going to do anything as of yet. And the balance between these jungle mids, I think, is going to be a really interesting sight to behold in the early game here, Goldbook.
Yeah, so, Medic, I'm going to let you in on a little family business as well here at the same time. So, my little brother, funnily enough, was a Grandmaster Evelynn OTP at some point as well. So I got, of course, some little interest in how he shut down this pick, what he absolutely hates as well. And what he would always cry about from the room next door is that when he's getting counter jungle pre-6, when the enemy laners have prio, they come in and disrupt your pathing. You don't have a lot to get away with. Quite often you'll have to expand the flash. And if those enemy laners have CT, like Caps LeBlanc will have, if he gets prio, we might see Kevy having a little bit of a hard time as well.
So let's watch how the priority in those lanes goes. When we talk about prio, obviously, the idea is, can you push the lane faster than your opponent can?
Yes.
Can you clear the minion wave quicker than your opponents? If you can gain prio, because you have control over how quickly the minion wave pushes in, how often you want to roam around from your lane without losing minions. So that's what we're looking for. We'll see if G2 are able to gain control here. Of course, Flack and Targamas on the lane first means that they get the push early on, and Puma and Corporal have to back away because they know, well, we can't clear the minions quickly enough to hit that level 2. And
honestly, this is the freest lane ever as well for the G2 bot lane. If I'm Renata here into Nautilus, I absolutely love it. If I'm Flacket as well, absolutely love it. Every time Nautilus procs that shield, well, the passive of Sari just lets us steal it away, get some extra movement speed. And the thing is as well, in the beginning, people were like, well, Renata, she's so squishy. All these engaged supports are just going to engage on her and they'll die. But look at this. Targamas can step up like this because you just go a pseudo tank build instead. You optimize in for the Guardian instead. You get those tanky stats and you get the shield when you finally fraud your E. If Nautilus engages, you're just going to get slowed. You're going to get the handshake through and you're just going to die. So it's incredibly difficult. And what was that? Evelynn counter jungling? Well, Jankos, he's on it immediately.
You can see push in the mid lane, push in the top lane here for G2. Jankos goes all the way around. Kevy trying to loop his way around as well. But Caps has flash, has distortion. efficient. Kevy only has one flash of his own. Jankos over the wall with the chase. Kevy will flash away. The chains were held by Caps. He connects underneath the tower. Kevy's trying to survive, but you just can't survive the dive. G2 first blood.
And that is the most difficult part of an Evelyn. It's that first clear. If you can go disrupted through that, you can get the XP going on the cabs, you can get level 6 on second and third clear. It's great, but quite often, and more than not, this will happen. And that's why I said, when you see an Evelyn, it is so important that you have a prior lane. Unfortunately, it's not been the case so far. And even now, Kisee is still struggling against Caps here.
Kisee does have 3 of those health potions, has popped one of them already. 2 left. The corrupting potion on the side of Caps means that he'll be able to sustain up that mana as well. Of course, on Zed you don't need mana, so you can go longsword pots to try and give yourself a little bit more sustain in the lane. But early doors here, G2 out to a strong lead. Both buffs stolen away from Kevy, one by killing him, and one by just killing the cap.
And crucially, by set and LeBlanc, it is also first when you hit level 6 on the set that you finally start finding some kill pressure. Most of the first levels, especially on level 3, is more about poking them at the same time when you CS, because it's very difficult for you to step up on towards the wave, kind of like we're seeing it here. Okay, Kisee getting a little aggressive, still has the ignite, can flash forward if he wants to.
That's really well played there by Kisee to be able to get that extra damage down, hitting more of the shurikens onto Caps. Caps, through his corrupting potions, now has 1 total biscuit of rejuvenation. Kisee out of potions himself. In the early game, it's been a little bit difficult for Order, mostly because Kevy was pushed behind, scared a little bit in his own jungle. And don't forget, you guys can grab your exclusive Scare Prize Prime Gaming emote, so you can strut when you flash in and turn a fight, as BioPanther looks to do that in the top lane. Broken Blade getting chased down. Ghost has been popped. No crit there on the Order means that BioPanther won't be able to get enough damage down. Get that Scare Prize. Maybe when you are scared.
Broken Blade certainly not scared in that scenario just yet. No level 6 coming through from BioPanther either. And it kind of just goes back to what we talked about the matchup. If you step too far forward on Gnar, Ghost will be popped, you will get run down. So it's really important that you have the positioning in a respectable manner against the Tryndamere. But obviously BioPanther is still not level 6, cannot continue under the turret. But maybe a little foresight for what's to come.
Yeah, and the question really is like BioPanther popped Ghost, Broken Blade had to use TP to get back into the lane. That Ghost is on a much shorter cooldown. So if BioPanther can do that again and force Broken Blade away when there's a wave pushing in, that makes it much more difficult for Broken Blade to keep up on experience, keep up on levels, and keep up on gold against BioPanther. And if BioPanther can get enough of a lead in that side lane, perhaps he can start being that win condition for Order.
So what we see here is that Kevy, he was holding around Kisee, trying to be out of vision, but still in minion range, so he could get the XP, wait for the minions to come through, and gets a little bit of that in, because he knows he's already behind, right? Yep. And so Kisee, he has to be in a situation where he has to share his own XP. He does get level 6 before Caps, so it's not the end of the world for the mid laner, but it just speaks to how far behind the Evelyn was put a little bit in the early game, how important it is that she hits this level 6. Jankos now on the top side, finds a pink ward, doesn't have intel on Kevy on the Crocs, but will get in a bit.
BioPanther forced away. Interestingly, Kisee actually has the faster reaction to this. Caps had to catch the mid lane and Kisee just recalled, so he can be here first. Caps is clearing out that wave. Kevy's still only level 5, so is Jankos. Broken Blade with a wave underneath the tower means that BioPanther has to answer himself. And in the end, it will just be a couple of those small minions stolen away by Jankos. But yeah, once again, Kevy trying to get the experience. Exactly what you mentioned here, Goldbull.
Yeah, and you can see it. It's coming through. This time around, the recall not going to be able to reach a lot of the range, but he's just there to set up.
There's no camps for him either, man. That is pain as a jungler.
Wukong's here.
Kisee goes in with a Death Mark. Cap's going to jump away. Death Mark proccing, Ignite ticking as well. Jankos looking for the damage, but no flash burn on Kisee means that he's going to be able to escape. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, a 2v2 kill, and exactly as you say, how on earth did that happen? Puma still has Flash, Corporal still has Flash, and Targamas doesn't have a life anymore.
Order strikes back, and I was just saying, this matchup, it's so free to play for the Renata. I love playing this myself as well, but coming through into a Nautilus, I can't believe it. They must have been caught on an overextension. Jankos getting aggressive.
Gets the steal away on the blue buff, goes back in. Cyclone by himself for the moment. Look at that double knock-up smite from Kevy. The damage from Jankos flashing. And that's the kill over the G2. Corporal now forced away. The chain's going in. He does still have that flash, remember. Flash in by Jankos, flash away by Corporal. Ignite ticking, but Corporal should survive that. Caps could look for the jump across the wall here.
I get baited. Puma is around. W has been promised.
Doesn't have vision, remember. The shield, that's enough. Caps with the kill.
Oh my god, I can't believe they're allowed to do that there. For sure, thought Order was setting up a trap there, expecting the Caps would jump over, but they just weren't ready with the anchor either. And just like that, he picks up a 3 kill in the mid lane. Oh, in the bot lane, rather.
And it's strange. I'd love to
see that
at some point
replay.
see the bot lane replay as well. Yeah, because Order must have played this very well. Targamas behind the minions. Corporal stepping forward. Must just get hooked.
It's just
the Guardian's propped. He doesn't have the extra tankiness.
Exactly. He just gets blown up immediately, ignite, the CC change comes through, they try to get out of it with a flash afterwards, it's just not enough, and that's even with a level advantage on Flacket as well, so just a little over aggression. And then, no support is here, so there should be a members advantage from Order. But Jankers hits level 6 because of the smite on the blue buff. Flacket is around the wall, dashes over it on Seri, and then just flashes in to secure it. And just like that, G2, they continue relentlessly with their skirmishing and the counter jungling.
That's the thing, it's not just the kills, it's the jungle getting taken away from you. Kevy now has hit level 6, but Yanko's already level 7. Corporal trying to react towards this top side, but G2 are on their way. Broken Blade and Yankos force Corporal underneath the tower. Caps and Targamas here to join the fray. Caps steps in, and Corporal is nowhere safe on this Nautilus, sent to the depths below. Caps once again looking for the chase here. Biopanther does have flash, and will use it to escape the chains.
And it just speaks to the pressure he had ult as well, but just getting rooted off the support of it. Just wanted him to flash out of it immediately. Kissing now on Jankers instead.
Targamas here, still only level 5. Caps flashes the wall. Kisee has to flash himself. Knew that the W was on cooldown. Didn't have a shadow form for Kisee to escape with. Broken Blade looking for the Gnar towards the top side. Forces Biopanther away across the wall. But once again, it's not always about the kills. Sometimes it's just about stealing away the cams. But G2 are looking for the kills too. Yanko's hooked up. The Cyclone coming in.
Can he get the kill?
Yanko's brought back. Kisee ticking, not enough. Not in time. Kill goes over to Corporal in the end, and it's a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, just 1 second short of getting that reset to come through on the bailout, and Jankers would have lived. This time around, though, not the possibility, and they traded 1-for-1 at least, so Jankers does go down. Not a shutdown, though. So 1-1-4 still coming through, and, you know, this damage coming through. Divine Sunder already completed. You take a look at Kevy right now. He's sitting on 2 amplifying tomes. The difference in the 2 junglers right now, I mean, it's the Grand Canyon.
And the issue, of course, for Order is that Corporal has picked up both these kills as well through no fault of his own. Like, you can't expect in this sort of a messy play for Corporal to be able to hold off those auto attacks. You just want the kills. But when your support is picking up these kills and your jungler is being set behind, it makes it so much harder for you to get back in the game.
Yeah, a little greedy of Corporal trying to stick around, though, for the pink ward instead. And while he survives under the turret, well, it's just going to be the second time in a row where Caps just come through. Dashes in, dashes out, get a 3 kill. And then they just continue with the aggression, right? They're so far ahead. Yes, Kisee is pushing in the mid lane. Yes, they're losing a few plates. But in the bot side of the map, you also have Flacket, who's getting some of his wallet as well. And this is where it becomes a little messy, though.
Kisee comes in on the Zed. It wasn't there. Was clearing out the mid lane originally. The flash for flash, and then the fight continues. Broken Blade towards the top side here. Just totally whips on the Gnar, I think, on Biopanther.
Unfortunate circumstances. Either way, he's able to continue the pry on the top side, but we know what happens in this fight. Bailout doesn't come through, traded 1-for-1, and yeah, there you have it.
Yep. Kevy here spotted out on a ward as he roams up towards his jungle. G2, 4,000 gold ahead. In Order, with these side lanes that they needed to get in a good position, are struggling a little bit. Biopanther just gets over 70 CS, whereas Broken Blade is about 20 ahead. Mid lane, Caps has 2 kills to none on the side of Kisee, and even in the bot lane, there's a 30 CS lead for Flacket, even though they ended up dying in that 2v2. Corporal with a Hex Flash inside the bush. But Flacket in a very strong position currently on this area.
Yeah, you just don't win the matchup here. When Targamas at his level 6, you have the hostile takeover. You have Flacket as well, level 8. While Puma, before that happened, was level 7 as well. So you just want to stabilize once again. And it's not going to be about the bot lane. It's going to be about trying to find leads on the solo lane. That's what Order tried to do. That's why they moved Corporal up. Although G2 were just ready for the rotations all the time.
Yanko's looking for a bit of trade damage there. He saw that Kisee used his W, that shadow forwards, and knew that he would be able to get a little bit of damage in, but of course doesn't really want to take a full-on trade versus Kisee, even though he only has the serrated Dirk right now.
And Jankos does have that Rift Held in hand. There's 3 plates on the top side, and what do you know? He is making his way up there as well. Drake is up. Have not been taken yet, so if Order needs to have some sort of cross map to come through, it could be an objective you could look for at this moment, but I think this top lane is going to be gone.
Caps diving back forward. Poor Kisee doesn't use the chains. Did use the Everfrost. Earlier it goes back. There's the chains. Caps with the fancy feet dives back in. Kisee thought he was safe, but there's no escaping Caps on the form he's in at the moment. 3-0 now on that LeBlanc. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Biopanther forced away. You can see Corporal trying to react to this. The Dragon's gone down towards the bottom side, and that means that Kevy is known to be on the bottom side of the map. And as you say, Jankos Broken Blade, Divine Sundra in hand. will clear out 2 towers in the top lane.
It's just a massive gold lead. 12 minutes into the game, plating is not even done. You already have the only top lane inhibitor left standing in that lane. You can start playing around the mid lanes now. Broken Blade, he's gonna have so much time on the map before he needs to respond to the wave being pushed in on the top side, because the lane is so long now. It's gonna take a while before it starts hitting the tower. So I'm expecting G2 to stay group, try to get more on the map, while the members of Order is going to see how much they can get, and that will probably mean that they'll be out-rotated a little bit, because G2 currently on the map just have more leeway.
And just more in terms of their wallets as well. Their back pockets bulging at the moment, while Order are scrounging around for scraps, it seems. They do have a Gale Force finished on Puma. No Umbral Glaive first on the Jhin, something we have been seeing. But the thing with Umbral Glaive is it's great to clear out vision, but to clear out vision, you have to be able to get to vision. And right now, Order just don't have enough control of the map to ever be able to approach and clear out these objectives.
And now you can see they're just setting up on that bot side. Once again, the rotation's coming through. Broken Blade is in the mid lane. The other members down towards the bot side, and it just creates a man advantage.
That's disgusting. Invisible Jankos gets in. Corporal force low once again. Flash forward from Jankos for the kill. But you just can't see it. Hear no evil, see no evil, do no evil, it seems, for Jankos on this Monkey King. Puma pops the cleanse, pops the ultimate, but Caps able to sidestep the first 2. Third one goes wide as well, and Caps walks away. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Broken Blade being dived, building up that Mega Gnar, not quite there yet. Flashes into the charm, and Order execute a clean dive in the top lane.
Yeah, so at least there is a response from the side of Order, but even then, the resources you had to expend to get through that was quite a lot, with the mid lane as well just being pushed in. You don't really get the other way. But what I really liked from the G2 rotations was the fact that, once again, Broken Blade, I'm just going to hold it.
Yeah, I think Jankos dies here. A lot of damage coming out from Kisee. Already has the Eclipse. Jankos might be brought back with the bailout, but Kisee, of course, can just jump all the way back to his original shadow. Great stuff there by Kisee. Caught Jankos moving up towards the Rift Helm.
Especially when you consider how far behind they are in gold currently. And it just is a great response back into it. Members have reset now, though. Anchor luckily collects on the tower.
Yep. Power of the dredge line means that Corporal is able to get away from that handshake. And for the moment, Order in a very strong... Order in a very difficult position to get back into this game. G2 still 6,000 gold ahead. They've taken down the tier 1 in the bottom lane, tier 1 and the 2 in the top lane, and now they'll be looking towards mid.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're going to have second Rift Hole spawning up in just a few minutes as well again. When that happens, you're just going to be taking care of that mid lane turret in one charge. So G2, they don't have to invest too many resources trying to take the mid lane turret down naturally, because they know they can just skirmish around it. So what you can just do is just like open the map up, play towards the side lane. Once you have priority in one of these side lanes, start counter jungling again. Start creating the skirmishes where you have the first move. It's what we've seen them succeed with so far, and will continue to succeed.
And so then what do Order do to react? Because right now you can see Kevy and Corporal are kind of shadowing each other down towards that bottom side. Kisee's trying to push forward, but he's been narred into the wall. We don't really have a moment to talk about what Order could do in a side lane, because Broken Blade just gets a 1v1 kill against Kisee there, as I thought Kevy was looking to set something up. G2 trying to react now, as Kevy and Corporal might be a little bit overextended.
That's even the problem, right? Because yes, you can try and look for a pick down towards the bottom lane, as we see here, but even then the problem is that G2, with the man advantage in the mid lane, will have to respond quite quickly. Yeah. So yes, you traded maybe one kill, but then as soon as that kill has come through, the rest of G2 will be on top of you, and probably 2 members will die. So even the moves you make here, where you try to get aggressive, is not going to work for you. So once again, what you need is some stabilization, maybe level 11 on Kevy as well. When you start being able to trade, wait for G2 to make a mistake, start setting up. Vision control against an Evelynn is quite difficult, because you need pink wards instead of normal wards, and that gives you some extra breathing room from the side of Order.
It's one of the difficulties when you have a composition that thrives in a side lane and you fall behind in the early game, so you can't win your 1v1s, is, well, we're not winning the 1v1s in the side lane, so we kind of just have to catch the waves as they're pushed towards us. We can't really take a team fight because we don't have a team fight in composition and we're behind. The only good sign for Order is that they got that first dragon. G2 haven't been stacking up Drakes, so we're on for a very late soul if G2 go for it, but with the engaged potential from a Wukong and from a Gnar, G2 can just force plays like this.
And there we have it. They got the priority down towards the bot side. They move Broken Blade up towards the mid lane. They take care of it. Order now trying to look for some cross map. Herald in less than 1 minute. If they can get this kill, maybe they can trade for more objectives afterwards.
Caps has a stopwatch, jumps forward, Everfrost for the root, clears out the wave as well, and Kevy just tanks the towers. The TP comes in. It is a TP burnt, but nothing on the side of Order, just a little bit of their time. So they will come out with a summoner spell advantage there.
Yeah, that was what they could get, but now they're going to be late on a setup for the potential Herald. Broken Blade will be on the top side. G2 knows most of the members of Order are on the top side as well, so they can just have Jankos solo up the Drake. So now, Crossmap won't really come through to what we had hoped for. Corporal, no flash, so it's going to be difficult connecting on the hook.
Could go for a short hook into the depth charge. Decides against it. Dragon taken by Jankos. That's their first of the game, and it will be a Mountain Soul for us. With a 7,000 gold lead, G2 still looking very much in control of this game. 2 items now complete as well on Flakked. That Phantom Dancer coming in second.
So at least there is decent vision control from the side of Order on the top side, but with the resets now coming through from G2, they will just be able to move their members up there. They will just be able to clear it because it'll be very difficult for Order to fight it. What you could have done in this scenario is that, oh, we know we have some top side priority. We can try and cheese them. We know we have the vision control, but Order is down towards the bot side, so that's not going to happen.
Order might look for something here. The wave coming in. Lightning, it's time to hook onto the tower. They're looking to get him down before the Mega Knight comes in. A good play by Order as Corporal tanks the tower. Kevy takes the kill.
And this is great because G2 is in a position where they're not really set up. They're on a reset timer instead. So Order, they find the window, but what it's going to cost them then is oh, all the members on the bot side, time to set up for that hit Rift Herald, time to set up for top side instead. But Order, they're getting what they can in this game, right?
That's
they're getting kills, right? They're getting turrets. You can't really ask for much more in a situation like this.
When you're behind like this, every time you can get anything, even if you're trading slightly down, is still beneficial for you. Like if you trade 200 gold down on this play, it's fine. You still got a bunch of gold in your back pockets, and you can start to get towards those items. We see mythics across the board for them now, apart from Corporal, who is still building towards that locket. G2 starting up the Rift Herald. Order maybe looking for a reaction here, but with Kisee down towards the bottom side, of course, running the Ignite instead of the TP, and Cap up here. Order decide against fighting the second Rift Herald.
I was going to say, it'd be very bold if they all of a sudden decided to fight that, but what they can do here is that, once again, they know majority of the members on the top side. You can try and move some members down towards the bot side, see if you want to skirmish together. Once again with the Evelynn, if there's no pink vault spotting him, you may be looking for a pick, and it looks like that pick is going to be Broken Blade.
Deathmark, Broken Blade trying to get away here, wants to build up that Mega Knight, now has a minion wave to do it. The rest of G2 on the reaction, and Order calling the retreats. Corporal missed out on the chains, but a brick connects, and Corporal is a demotion in Order. Go back to private as G2 take the kill. Kisee forced away here by Flakked, and Kisee, you just can't do anything about it. Kevy on his lonesome, perhaps looking for Broken Blade when he goes into the mini-nar. Yeah, invisible, of course, is Kevy on this Evelynn. Broken Blade, there's the charm. Doesn't have a flash, does have a jump. The charm still connected, still there, but now falls off, and Kevy looking for the chase, misses the hate spike. And Caps is on the way. Kevy tried to do what he can, dances away, but Caps can chase him down, and there's no escape for the Order jungler.
And there you have it. That's in the scenario where G2 were off reset timers. You know, they're a group that's a unit. They can collapse immediately as soon as they see the members from Order move down towards the bot side. Nothing stopping G2 to do the same. Now with this Rift Herald, they won't use it to open up the first one. They'll use it to open up the second, continue on towards the inhibitor turret, and they'll be getting a lot on this push.
And G2 looking to continue their undefeated streak. It would be 16 games in a row for them if they win this. 12 through the LEC playoffs, and now, of course, 4 here at MSI. Inhibitor down in the mid lane, just over the 20-minute mark. G2 can use that pressure to set up vision towards this top side of the map, and then look towards that Baron.
And that's the thing. We quite often talk about these teams in terms of, oh, are you a Drake stacking team that needs to get this going? Are you a Rift Herald team that will need to get this going? In playoffs, G2 completely shifted their style and were all about the Drake priority. They had the highest soul percentage coming into this series as well, or game rather, but it just speaks to versatility we also see in this team, that they can swap it up. They could be the one that's relying on Rift Herald. They could be the one getting leads around the turrets instead. You don't need Soul to win this game.
Yep.
You're already in a prime position to just skirmishing around the area around the Baron buff, get the vision control, once again play off the priority, and just set up a fight around the Baron where Order is going to be at a deficit.
And that's what you start seeing Jankos doing here, clearing out some vision. Corporal did get a singular ward just by where the Baron is, and that control ward will not spot that. So that ward is good for Order. It does give them awareness of if G2 starts something up, and perhaps they're looking to start something up themselves. Stopwatch coming out from Caps as the curtains open. Biopanther with a good flank position here. Caps forced away. Corporal though low. Flakked with the ultimate trying to get the damage down himself. Biopanther on the chase. Flakked is going to dive across the wall. Biopanther diving in with the Undying Rage, but can he get the damage down? Nard into the wall, stunned up, CC'd for days. Broken Blade kills off the Panther, and G2 now force Order to retreat.
Yeah, and even in those scenarios that looks great from the side of Order, they're not able to pick it up. Caps, you're on a ward, you're low HP.
This is millions of HP when you have a bailout playing around the Renata perfectly. Caps misses the chains on the reset and will be killed by Puma. A huge shutdown for him, but G2 instead are looking for the shutdown here on the Baron. 7,000 gold ahead, make it 8 as they secure the big purple worm, and we'll see what they can do with this Red Bull Baron power play.
And even like that, they are playing on the limits of what can be achieved on these champions there as well, playing with the bailout, playing for the reset. G2, so dominant. Heavy, in a flank position here, and there are members who can collapse if they suddenly get a pick, but even then, no man advantage. Biopanther in base. Kisee still coming back from the death. So there you have it. Drake will just go over to G2. They can come through with resets, and I can start looking around the next of the map where they can play on 2 lanes. They have a Baron buff.
An issue, of course, for Order is the speed at which Puma can clear out those super minions pushing in the mid lane. Jin does have good wave clear. You know, Dancing Grenade, Ultimate.
Oh, yeah.
The Captive Audience as well can do some work, but it's not always the fastest when you're waiting to reload. So that super minion wave pushing in once again. G2 now on the bottom side of the map. Caps isolated from his team. Kevy and Corporal are looking to perhaps catch him as he catches this wave that's pushing in, but the rest of G2 are looking for an inhibitor tower instead. Kevy reacting, Biopanther, Corporal and Puma. Last chance defense, you have to think. Root comes out, good hook as well. Target's low, flashes away. The engage coming in from Jankos over with the Cyclone. Kevy's going to dive away with an ultimate of his own, but Corporal just melted on the front line, and Order really can't do anything. The wallets are too big. They're getting slapped around with dollar bills here by G2. Biopanther dies to the double. Puma isolated underneath his Nexus towers as well. Kevy will fall. It's not quite an ace as Kisee has been able to escape, but Caps doesn't really want him to get away. A triple for Blackhead. Stopwatch from Caps. Kisee, try as he might, he can't stop the unrelenting march that is G2 towards the Nexus towers. They may delay to see if Caps can win the 1v1. They don't. G2 still undefeated at MSI.
Yeah, they continue with their streak, and they are still looking like a team just growing stronger and stronger in terms of their